Yeah, my amplified unit. It is indeed time to wake up, get up, and get amplified. It is a special, and I do mean special, impromptu edition of Amped Up with BC Amplified. The Amped Up podcast on a Sunday afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. It is a Sunday edition, and we don't get to do those often. Once in a blue moon, BC comes at you on a Sunday with an Amped Up podcast. Consider this that blue moon, because BC has some time, and we have a lot of stories to go over, a lot of ground to cover in the pro wrestling world over the last 24 hours, bro. A lot. And some of these stories are gigantic. So there's no way that BC could not put that red light on and start rocking out, jamming out with my amplified unit. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And when I say big stories, I'm talking about new IWGP Women's Champion. It is no longer Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. She has lost that title. We are going to talk about it. Mercedes and Trinity Fatu, Naomi, going after Meltsy Boy in the dirt sheets, hardcore. We're going to go over that. Trinity Fatu putting the kibosh to a big dirt sheet report, basically giving that report Das Boot. Wait till you hear this, man. And we got the latest on Naomi as well, Trinity Fatu. She's back in the ring. BC's got the latest on that. A huge shakeup with NBC Universal. The CEO of NBC Universal has gotten Das Boot right out of the company. The CEO, the lead guy who is in the charge for WWE and Peacock and that whole relationship and that renewal process for 2026 that was supposed to take shape next year. Oh, BC's going to talk all about that. A massive shakeup right now with NBC Universal and how that affects WWE. Speaking of WWE, the SmackDown rating is now out. A slight adjustment we are expecting in the next 12 hours, but only a slight adjustment. Wait till you hear what SmackDown pulled in this week. And I know, BC NBA playoffs, man. Trust me, I know. My New York Knicks are in the playoffs. It feels like the first time in 19 decades. My Knicks are finally in the playoffs. That still does not justify how fast they are going backwards since WrestleMania. We're going to go over that number as well. So like I said, oh, and by the way, man, more Mercedes news. She was asked recently in a Q&A what would be some of her type dream matches. Wait till you hear one of her dream matches that she wants to get done. An intergender match with an AEW former champion, multiple championships. Wait till you hear this as well. Hopefully I remember all of this shit. There's so much news. But there's only one way to start off, and that is the giant Omos. Wait till you hear what BC is hearing. You may not like this. That's where we're going to start. First and foremost, guys, let me pop a coffee. A couple of programming notes, programming sound offs for you guys just to look forward to starting next week, which will be tomorrow. See, I'm not used to this Sunday format, man. Tomorrow kicks off a brand new week of content here on the channel. And it's going to be a big one, man. I hope to come at you guys tomorrow morning, early afternoon with a regular Amped Up podcast sometime tomorrow. And tomorrow evening, I hope to do a members-only live stream chat. So a live stream for the entire Red Team Go unit, but members only in the chat. So it's one of those members-only type of live streams as it pertains to the chat. So I hope to do that for the first hour of Monday Night Raw. The shows are just so hard to get through lately that BC needs a little bit of a jolt. He needs a little bit of some amplification. So I think by watching at least the first hour with my entire unit and having my gold team, my channel members up in the chat, all of my gold carders, I think that'll keep us all rocking, right? That'll keep us all honest on how this show is, because it's not just BC's point of view. It's my entire channel membership, my entire gold team. So I hope to do that tomorrow night. Same thing for Friday Night SmackDown, at least for the first hour. Friday night, I hope to be live with you guys. That'll be the entire red team, my entire unit, not just channel members. I hope everybody is up in that chat rocking and telling BC how you feel about that show. I feel like we need to do that now more than ever. Keep that show, these shows, that company, keep it honest. And we only do that when we all come together and really either praise the show as a unit or absolutely rip these shows apart as a unit. So that's some programming notes for next weekend. A couple of big live streams starting tomorrow night, hopefully. All right. Let's waste no more time. Omos, you guys ready for this? BC's going to have to get a swig of coffee just to fucking talk about it. So, you guys know by now, salute unit. We're doing the Dunkin' Iced original right now. This is my 8th coffee of the day/evening. So, this one's definitely going to hit the spot and get us through this fucking amped up podcast. You guys know by now, Seth Rollins and Omos has been declared, because that's what it is. There's no negotiating here. This was just fucking probably in one of their boardroom meetings at the last fucking possible second. They're just like, by the way, Omos, Rollins, right? Because Rollins is being punished anyway for the little, the comments that he made about Cody Rhodes going into Mania. He doesn't deserve that spot. That should be my spot. Now, we all respect Seth Rollins, but his character right now is not where it should be in the main event with Roman at a WrestleMania. It's just not. Cody absolutely deserved that spot. Sometimes it's not just about wrestling more than other people or, Cody's fucking injury. I'm sure he didn't go and ask for that. He still wrestled through that injury, by the way. That Hell in a Cell with a fucking peck off the bone. It's just about how things fall into place sometimes in pro wrestling. That's life, man. A lot of times Shane McMahon was in that ring and he got a lot of hell for taking someone's spot. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, happens all the time. Sometimes justified, sometimes I fully agree. They have no business being in the ring in that scenario or situation. But with Cody Rhodes, it was obvious. The story dictated that he be in that main event. So Seth Rollins, I totally understand his frustration, but he went pretty hard in several interviews saying how he doesn't feel that match should even be taking place. Obviously, management was not happy. Now you fast forward. There was a lot of changes going on to the Raw after Mania. Seth Rollins' segment was one of them. During commercial break, production assistants run down to the ring. They tell him there's been a change. He doesn't look happy about it. He's screaming at them. We pick up some video of that. Freddie Prinze Jr., actor and former WWE writer, said he had a lot of friends that were front row, and he said that they were screaming at one another. Rollins was not happy. When we came back from break, we all saw what happened. After about 10 seconds of more of a sing-along, Rollins just left the ring, and we heard reports that he just walked out of the arena afterwards. The next week on Raw, he was nowhere to be found. He was not on that show, and there was no word of Seth Rollins. Here we are a week after that, and we're hearing that Rollins is taking on Omos. Now, up front, most of the wrestling world just said, okay, this is going to be a squash for Rollins, whatever. No harm, no foul. They just don't have anything for anybody right now. So let Rollins just defeat Omos. It'll be fine. Not so fast. See, BC thought the same damn thing, right? That's easy peasy lemon squeezy, as Oscar would say. Nothing is easy peasy lemon squeezy when you're in World Wrestling Entertainment and you have Vincent Kennedy McMahon and 3 H's ass-kissing McGee leading the helm. When you have VKM and 3 H's, nothing is easy. They are the pettiest, most stubborn bastards you're going to find in the wrestling industry. So, check this. Not only Not only am I hearing that there is a very real possibility that Omos is defeating Seth Rollins, not confirmed, nobody knows that, not even VKM, and he'll change his mind fucking 76,000 times 10 minutes before the fucking match in Puerto Rico at Backlash. But I am hearing there is absolutely a solid chance that it's Omos in this match to go over Seth Rollins. And guys, it gets worse. It gets worse. I'm hearing he is a leading candidate. It's not LA Knight, which we all said would be perfect for this honor, this prestigious moment, even though they've tried to make it as not prestigious as possible. Unprestigious as possible, especially with the botched Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in from Austin Theory this past year on a fucking US title during an open challenge in the middle of a Monday Night Raw. Don't get me started on that. But I'm hearing, no, it's not going to be an LA Knight, It won't be somebody like a Shinsuke Nakamura with one final chance to have a real solid push. It ain't going to be a Karrion Kross. I'm hearing the lead candidate, get this. Oh, fuck. Oh, save. Oh, you gotta get another guzzle. You gotta get a fucking guzzle, not just a swig. Oh, I am hearing it is Omos that is the lead candidate to win the 2023 WWE Money in the Bank contract/briefcase. Omos! Omos! Are you kidding me? Omos? Omos. Omos. Forgive me while I have another fucking swig. Stupid! As a wrestler once named Ryback used to say. Absolutely stupid. If this is the route they go, and this is the bounce back, right? You lose to Brock Lesnar at Mania. Don't worry. We're going to make sure that you save face. We're going to feed you Seth Rollins, right? Or at the time, I bet you they didn't even know. I honestly think this is punishment for Rollins, but they probably said we're going to make sure you have a big boost after you let Brock go over at Mania. So you take out somebody. Now we know it's going to be Rollins at Backlash in a couple weeks. And then you are the front runner. Unless, they probably told him, unless plans totally fucking switch up beyond our measures or control, you will be holding that briefcase. With MVP, it'll be the perfect position. We're gonna build you up to be a damn monster. You're gonna be a monster. What do you think about that idea, doofus son-in-law? And this is the time where Triple H should stand up, right? For anybody going, this is a Vince decision, by the way, I don't argue that. I don't argue that at all. That's pretty obvious. The reason on this channel we also blame Triple H is because he refuses to stand the fuck up. He refuses to get his balls from Stephanie's purse, much less attach them to utilize them. He won't even get them out of the purse. Maybe Stephanie is smacking them upside his fucking head and say, don't touch. They stay in the purse. Don't touch. You want your balls? Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Maybe she's telling him that. Who knows? But as much as you want to respect H for what he did as the cerebral assassin and spritzing all over the ring when he was a diabolical heel, which I loved, by the way, as much as you want to praise him and put him on a pedestal for what he did with NXT, Black and Gold, of course, we love those few years of the takeovers. Wow! Of course, that was handed to him on a silver platter with Dusty Rhodes and the Regals and so many other people. That was a joint production times a million, but whatever. We'll give H the proper credit, the prestige that he, I'm told, deserves. Of course, we won't mention the fact that he got his ass whooped by Tony Khan in AEW, got shattered over the Tuesday nights. We won't mention any of that because we're only supposed to talk about Triple H when it's about success. Anything that has to do with failure, we don't mention Triple H at all. It's a really weird narrative in this community. Not on this channel. I've seen enough out of this dude to know that he has fucked up just as much, if not even more, than had he succeeded. that he is just as much, if not the most ass-kissing machine to Vincent Kennedy than anybody else. You may throw John Laurinaitis, people power, under the bus. That's fine. You may throw Brucey Pritchard, I love you, Brother Love, under the bus. That's fine. Whatever you gotta do. You might want to talk and throw him under the bus. I'm talking about Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn? You may want to throw him under the bus. That's fine. That's cool. Michael P.S. Hayes, the fabulous Freebird. Yes! Michael P.S. Hayes. I remember him back in the WCW days, man. One of the best tag teams ever. You may want to throw him under the bus and say he's the biggest ass kisser. Whoever you want to claim, that's fine. I got a name for you that you might not want to hear. You're not going to say this name. You love him so much, but he's the biggest ass kisser of them all. 3 H's. 3 H's. Hunter Hearst Helmsley Paul Levesque, who attaches himself to power like a fucking tick on a fucking dog. A tick on a deer. 3 H's is like a fucking tick that latches onto a pet. And you gotta try to pry that tick off of the fucking skin. And it won't come off, and he's digging in more. No, I will not fucking detach from the fucking ass that I am kissing. So when Vince looks at him and says, "What about Omos?" says the Money in the Bank briefcase winner. And that's the time where H has to step up and say, I don't know, Vince, that sounds like a really bad idea. I think you should let me run this thing. Shut up, doofus son-in-law. I asked a question. Yes or no to Omos? Oh boy. Yes, Vince, I love the idea. I always loved Omos. That's what I thought. Now shut up and go get me a cannoli, you doofus son-in-law. Right on it, Vince. I'm gonna get you too, because I love you so much. That's it. That's what's happening, bro. How many times are you gonna let this guy off the hook? His title is Head Creative Chief Content Officer. I don't even fucking know. He's got so many words. Chief Content Creative Officer. I don't even fucking know. You want the title? Act like it, bitch. Act like it, bitch. You ain't gonna get that title and get all the praise, and then when the fucking things go south, we're gonna go, it was Vince. That's a Vince idea. Guys, listen to how we play this game. If it's good, it's H. If it's really bad, it's Vince. Doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't even matter. I'm not going to play that game for the rest of eternity. Nor should you. If you're the Chief Content Creative Officer, you're a fucking officer. What are you fucking, we supposed to salute you? Fucking ring general? Shut the fuck up with that shit. You want to have this fancy title, this fancy name. Now's your chance to fucking show what you're made out of. If your little daddy-in-law is going to keep slapping your wrist and saying, go away, go get your treat, get out of here, why big boys do their work, and you just run away, then you shouldn't be in the position. You shouldn't be. If you're going to fucking ridicule people like Brewster Pritchard, people like Johnny Laurinaitis, and people like Kevin Dunn and so many others, then you better put Paul Levesque at the top of the list. It doesn't matter if he can be slightly or even a lot better than Vince if solely given the reins. The fact is that he's not. This is a VKM and an HHH production, and he's not willing to stand the fuck up for the betterment of the company. He's just an ass kisser. If you opened up a pizza shop with your best friend, you're the fucking CEOs, you're the owners of the place, all right? Fuck manager. You're the owners of this new pizza place. But every single time you see a pepperoni pizza come out, you notice that your friend pisses in that shit. Literally. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. But a pepperoni pizza makes him fucking whip it out and piss on that pepperoni pizza. And that thing goes out to whoever the fuck just bought that pepperoni pizza. Now, at some point, aren't you going to step the fuck up and say, stop pissing on the pepperoni pizza? These are fucking human beings eating that shit. That's wrong. That's absolutely disgusting. That's pathetic. And I don't want to be associated with this. And if he keeps fucking doing it, at what point do you say that's it? This changes or I walk out. If you're okay with losing me, then you didn't respect me to begin with. And that's a fucking pizza shop. You're not a millionaire if you own a fucking pizza shop, unless you're a fucking conglomerate like a fucking Pizza Hut or a Domino's. Fucking Papa John's. H is a multi-millionaire. Just got $5 million more just for his role at the time of the acquisition with UFC and Endeavor. He just got a $5 million bonus. You expect BC to look at him like he's a victim? To look at 3H's and have sympathy for him? Why? Have some fun. Find your balls, bro. I say this all the time. At minimum wage jobs, I see employees standing up for themselves every fucking day who get trashed, tarnished, embarrassed, ridiculed by their bosses. And they're living paycheck to paycheck for about $12 an hour. But they finally have enough respect, enough pride. Not too much. Pride comes before the fall. You don't want to have too much pride, but enough pride for themselves, enough of a moral compass, enough values, enough self-respect to say this isn't right, and you're just trashing me, and it shows that you're undermining me. You're disrespecting me. H refuses to do that week after week, month after month, year after year, and so many fans go, poor Triple H. He's never going to get the company. Vince treats him so wrong. Meanwhile, they laugh at us. And Paul Levesque blames us and says we don't know what it's like and we don't know what's best for business. His father-in-law does. These are quotes. He laughs at you, calls you marks, and that you have no idea what's going on. Vince knows what's best for business. He has said this time after time. And you guys take it. You swallow that shit. And you keep coming back for more, like fucking Oliver Twist with a wooden bowl and a wooden spoon. Please, sir, can I have some more? And he'll look at you and say, of course you can have more. There's always enough bullshit stew to go around, whether it's VKM serving it or HHH. So this Omos situation, you're going to hear a lot of, this has to be Vince. Fuck that shit. From here on out, it is Vince and H, because H is allowing it. And you say, BC, what's he supposed to do? Vince has final say. Stand the fuck up, or I want to see a story saying he walked the fuck out. Walked the fuck out. Talent has the balls to do it, and they have a lot less money, like a Stone Cold, or a Sasha Banks, or a fucking Trinity Fatu Naomi. A fucking Bray Wyatt. People do it every day at a McDonald's or at a Pizza Hut. At a fucking Walgreens or a Walmart. Making minimum wage. Maybe they got 4 kids at home. They don't know how they're going to support anybody. They live paycheck to paycheck, but they know that's not how they should be treated. And there has to be better for them. And if H is just going to be the whipping boy, the bitch boy to Vince, then lose the fucking title. Because that is your title, so you're going to be blamed just as much. And if Omos wins that fucking Money in the Bank, if you think I'm not ripping Triple H to shreds, you don't know the channel, and you sure as hell don't know the Ant-Man. Can you tell that just pisses me off? You have a Money in the Bank. This could really propel somebody, and we're hearing that the front row BC is. You take it for what it's worth. I have some really knowledgeable people down in Florida. And I hear a lot of things. Sometimes I tell you guys the things I'm hearing. Sometimes I don't. I let it play out. Most of the time I'm right or along the lines. And I find out 99% of the time, like a Clorox wipe, 99% of the time, 99.99% of the time. If not fully correct, they were along the same trajectory in the path of correct. The whole time, unless something fell off the rails last second. Usually what I hear is pretty on track. It's exactly what's being talked about down in the Performance Center. And they have the eyes and ears of the entire company, guys. It's not Stamford, Connecticut if you want the real news, the real scoop, the real gossip. I always say this. It's down in Florida at the Performance Center. That's where you're going to get the best gossip, the best news, the best stories. At its inception, by the way. Now, of course, there's enough time before now and Money in the Bank. Anything can and most likely will change. We're hoping that one of those things is this Omos story. We got to see what happens at Backlash first. Maybe they pull their heads out of their own asses and they realize that Omos defeating Seth Rollins is a bag, a bundle, a boatload of fucking wrong. And they don't do it. If Rollins scores the W over Omos, then hopefully we can start to put to bed any fucking word on him winning Money in the Bank. Or is this a way to lose another big match, have Rollins go over, and then say, don't worry, we got you. You're going to be propelled to the Money in the Bank briefcase winner. I don't even know. Thinking about this gives me a fucking dome piece ache. But I felt like you guys should know, don't get your fucking... Don't get your hopes up that this is just going to be a quick Seth Rollins squash. No harm, no foul. Let's get it done with, and then Omos can go off into obscurity. Not so fast. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing there's a damn solid chance he's beating Seth Rollins, and I'm hearing he is the front runner to Money in the Bank and actually winning that briefcase. Take it for what you guys will, man. I will keep you guys abreast of the situation. I will keep you guys updated on everything that I am hearing on such. Let's stick with World Wrestling Entertainment, if you will, as Dusty Rhodes would say. The SmackDown rating this week is in. And now there's going to be a slight adjustment come around 12 noon tomorrow. We expect it to go either up or down about a 0.4 tops. It ain't going to be by much, 0.40. But SmackDown pulled in a 2.1 this week in viewership. Hour number 1, a 2.125. Hour number 2, 2.108. Going down in that hour 2. The total is roughly 2.1 with the adjustment that we are expecting in the next 12 hours. If you guys are wondering, that is down from the over 2.25 from last week, down from the 2.4 plus the previous week, and down from 2.6 going into Mania. So they didn't just lose their whole Mania crowd, they added another 70,000 on top of it, just for good measure. Just so they can dig themselves out of an even deeper hole. Now, a lot of people are giving them excuses like the NBA playoffs. Nobody knows more about the NBA playoffs like BC. My New York Knicks are into this motherfucker finally. We're finally in the tournament. We're in the playoff. So trust me, I know the interest that's there. I know the buzz that's generated. You still pulled a 2-1. You have lost hundreds of thousands of viewers in the past 3 weeks. That is their problem. That is their doing. That is their responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen. At the bare minimum, make sure they're switching back a lot more during all the commercials. During some maybe flat play, right? Where some team has 12, 14 point advantage, a lead. Make them switch back. That's bare minimum. Have things going on that are so interesting that you have them, the remote is in their hand and they have the last channel ready to be pressed, and they just keep going back. You know, everybody loves the last channel. It's your 2 favorite shows you're watching at the same time, and you got to press the last nonstop and keep flipping back and forth. No. What that 2-1 tells me is they took the remote, they said, fuck SmackDown. I got no FOMO. There's no fear of missing out. And we've been seeing this trend. And if you follow the reviews, BC for months has been praising SmackDown. My amplified unit will tell you that. My entire red team will tell you that. Especially my gold team, my channel members. They will tell you, I've been praising going into WrestleMania for the most part because it had the better storylines, obviously, with Sammy and the Bloodline, Cody Bloodline, even though they spilled into Raw. Dominic and Ray Ray. SmackDown was just a better show than Raw. Not by that much, but better. And sure enough, the ratings would tell you that. Either 2.4 was the lowest. 2.6s at times it would actually leak into. In the past few weeks, ever since Mania, what I've been telling you guys, these shows absolutely suck. It's a chore to get through. It is exhausting by the time we're done with a SmackDown show, and that's not a good thing. That's really bad. And sure enough, every time I cut a review that is scathing in a negative way, what happens? Guys, the rating backs up every word that I say. I could see if I'm tearing up a show and the show ends up being immaculate in the ratings. Then it's a shut up BC scenario. Clearly, I was fucking wrong. Or my take, what I critiqued, is just not what the grand spectrum saw and heard and enjoyed. But no, when I critique this shit, I'm fucking spot on. It didn't take NBA playoffs to tell me that was going to leak closer to 2.0 flat. I just saw a really bad show, and I knew it was going to leak closer to 2.0, and now they're at 2.1. And don't get it twisted, the adjustment could put it under 2.1. We're thinking it's going to go closer to a 2.175. It could go backwards to a 2.0. Maybe not that far back, but it will go under 2.1, possible. Within the next couple of weeks, don't be surprised if it's close to 2.0 if they don't put their shit in order, their ducks in a row. Get their shit together. You're going to see this show that was once near 2.6. You're going to see it at a 2.0 flat because we're seeing the same thing with Monday Night Raw. They're about to dip into the 1.7s, 1.818 2 weeks ago. Last week, 1.815. If you go any lower, you're in the 1.7s. And you don't even have NFL football as competition for an excuse. So then you got to start saying badminton. Fucking the World Chess Championship. The fucking Monopoly playoffs. The high school Twister Championships. Who doesn't like a good game of Twister? What's the excuse going to be when Raw hits 1.7 with no NFL competition? Cord cutting, basically. We watch clips on the YouTube. There's the Hulu machine. We just, there's ways, basically. We just don't watch it live anymore. That's the problem. NFL's up 10%. Why? Because they made the shit more interesting. People still tune into live NFL, ABC, ESPN, NBC, Sunday Night Football. They tune into that. Why is that not that same energy that we had in the Attitude Era? Why is that not present? A lot of people don't watch as much cable anymore. That's fine. But on certain things like the NFL, it is clear that they come back to cable television for that broadcast. Well, that's what we used to see back in the day. Why is wrestling not having that audience show up? That's the problem, guys. The problem is they don't feel the need to go to their big screen live. I can't say it in any other way. That's the problem. 2.1 is a miserably pathetic fucking number, and they deserve every lost viewer that they got. Moving on, NBC Universal CEO Jeff Shell is out. Das Boot! Another investigation has claimed another top CEO, right along the lines of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, inappropriate relations with a staffer, a staff/employee of NBC Universal. So Jeff Shell is out as CEO. This is massive because he worked hand in hand with deals made with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. In fact, the Peacock streaming deal is set to renew for 2026. That's the expiration. So by 2024, Shell has already said that he would like to have a working commitment with Vincent Kennedy McMahon, with WWE, going in to 2025, a full year before the 2026 first deal expires. Hopefully that makes sense. So bottom line, by the end of next year, Jeff Shell was hoping that him and WWE, they would be able to work something out for their next big, massive contract. With Endeavor coming in and them talking about UFC and WWE being on their own subscription-based service, streaming service, that opened up a can of worms in itself. A lot of people started asking questions. But you had Jeff Shell the entire time saying, no, we want to keep WWE in our portfolio, not just with the USA Network. Because for those that don't know, NBC Universal also owns the USA Network, and they've had a working relationship since the dawn of time. But the streaming deal, that's the big one for Peacock. That's the one that Jeff Shell was really starting to get more content. He really wanted to go sports heavy. He really wanted WWE to be the centerpiece, and he was able to get that shit. His predecessor got it. He kept it. In the relationship, he kept that gold, really. I mean, mint, him and Vince McMahon. Now with him out, that changes everything. Whoever is his replacement, are they going to give a fuck as much about the WWE deal? Will they shell out what we thought was going to be the next deal? At least a 35% bump for the next streaming deal. Is the next person in line really going to go that high? Really think that WWE is worth that value? Will that push Endeavor closer to a UFC WWE streaming service? This may sound like shit you don't really care about right now, but by the end of next year, especially when we leak into 2025, when we start talking about the next WWE streaming deal, oh, you're going to give a shit about this. This is massive. Jeff Shell was the biggest cheerleader, one of anyway, business-wise, for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Kapoop. The same thing that happened to Vince happened to Jeff Shell and got him Das Boot. And he is no longer the head of NBC Universal, the CEO. Of course, they are a subsidiary of the bigger conglomerate, which is Comcast. Comcast owns NBC Universal. Comcast owns Universal Studios theme parks. Comcast owns the fucking world, it would seem. So there's a lot of different CEOs within Comcast, but that's one of the biggest ones, and he is gone. I'm talking Das Boot out of nowhere, man. So that's going to have a big effect on future dealings with World Wrestling Entertainment and NBC Universal. Now, I want to move on, man. Moné. Her new theme song. Mercedes Moné and Trinity Fatu. They've been in the headlines heavy the last 2 days, man. The last 48 hours. I guess I'll start with Trinity first. Trinity and Mercedes were both upset of a report from Davey Meltzer, I believe, that was saying that Japan couldn't afford Trinity Fatu, Stardom, Bushy Road, the ones that own Stardom, the parent company, if you will. They could not afford Trinity Fatu. For some reason, this really upset Trinity and Mercedes, like big time, guys. Trinity actually put up the report, and with a big fucking overlaying word over it saying, like, not true. Just two big words in black. Not true over the report. Trinity wanted to make sure everybody knew that that was bullshit. It was not that they could not afford her and her price tag was too high. Mercedes also got pissed off. She put this in her post. Mercedes says, and I quote, "The fact that there's dirt sheets for scripted entertainment is hilarious. Y'all need to keep the fantasy booking / stories for Reddit. Let us entertainers entertain you. Point blank, period. Please enjoy our hard work and craft. Have fun, you marks." So she went hard on dirt sheets alike. Thankfully, the podcasters got kept from the fury of Sasha, the fury of Mercedes Moné. Us podcasters did not feel the wrath. But the dirt sheet fuckers, and obviously this was meant for Davey Meltzer more than anybody, they got fucking wrecked on this one, man. It's not often that you see Mercedes confront stories like this and absolutely rip the motherfucker involved apart. But that's what Mercedes did here in defense to Trinity. And it probably made Mercedes look a little foolish too. You know, like, oh, she took less pay? No, like Mercedes is there, but Trinity turned down the offer because they weren't going to pay her enough. It makes Mercedes look a little bit lower classed in terms of financially. Like her price tag is not that high. Trinity's the real fucking star. Because ever since, she's talking about how rich she is, too. Mercedes is constantly reminding everybody how rich she is ever since this story broke. It's just, I don't know, maybe she took a little bit of defense to that, even more so than just her good friend being involved in this story. I hope that's making sense, guys. So Dave Meltzer put out this thing that basically Stardom, the Bushy Road, the parent company, could not afford Trinity Fatu. And Trinity got upset and just put not true. And she put that over the report that was out there. And then Mercedes just unloaded on the dirt sheets. And sticking with Trinity, guys, she was recently, Trinity Fatu, Naomi, was backstage at a GCW event called Scene of the Crime. She was spotted there by several individuals. Now, hours before that, Kalisto, who is a really good friend of Mercedes Moné and Naomi, Trinity Fatu, but mostly Bailey and Mercedes. Kalisto is one of their closest friends. Kalisto uploaded a video training with Fatu, with Trinity, Naomi, hours before she was seen at GCW. So a lot of news there. Not a little bit. That's a lot to take in, guys. A lot of Trinity news. I don't think her first matches would be at GCW. It just doesn't make sense to BC. It doesn't fit, but you never know. You never know, man. It's just the whole thing it seems like a never-ending soap opera. We wish her the best. You know we love Naomi on this channel, Trinity Fatu. Her husband is crushing it in the bloodline right now in World Wrestling Entertainment. And on the flip side, her good friend Mercedes Moné crushing it in everything she's doing thus far since leaving WWE. In fact, a big night recently, man. And when I say big, it was in a losing manner, but still a massive night. The All-Star Queendom event, April 23rd, Stardom's big event in which Moné defended that championship against Iwatani. And Iwatani defeated Mercedes for the IWGP Women's Championship, which means the reign is over. It is done. I believe she won that. When did she win that? In February, right? So it was just 2 months? 60 some odd days? Roughly? February to March, April, maybe 60-something days Mercedes held that championship. And she has already lost it to Iwatani. And she has the utmost respect for her, too. So I guess we shouldn't be that shocked. But that is a massive piece of news that I could be giving to you guys. I know a lot of you guys don't follow along with that. Maybe you didn't hear that. But Sasha Banks is no longer the IWGP Women's Champion. And she has since... she has since released several statements on it, talking about her respect and admiration for Iwatani, but also having a little fun. And I quote, "I feel broke, but I called my CPAs and they told me I'm still rich, so I will be okay. Until next time, Moné out." So Mercedes having a little bit of fun too. She has already said that she wants her rematch. So expect that in the near future as well. And if you guys are wondering about the reports that she is no longer contracted with anything to do with New Japan Pro Wrestling after that event, and that's why she lost that championship, Mercedes herself is telling you absolute bullshit. This is a quote from Mercedes Moné about her contract status. And I quote, "This has..." Oh, no, let me start from the jump, actually. Moné says, and I quote, "The rumors are so far from the truth. If it's not coming from me or my voice, then how does anyone else know my business? None of it is true unless it is coming from me. It's just a reminder that I am the conversation starter. This has become my second home, and I'm committed to staying here and making history." An hour after that was brought up, or was it an hour before? Maybe it was an hour before a report came out that she has indeed extended her contract over in Japan. That just confirms it. So this title loss does not mean she's on her way back to WWE this week, next month, in Saudi, in fucking Puerto Rico, at Money in the Bank. No, guys. She is still working heavily and through the summer for sure, at the bare minimum and very least, over in Japan. This is just a massive title change and the ultimate show of respect to Iwatani, obviously. Expect that rematch as well. And there was ultimate respect for Eddie Guerrero, too, if you saw Sasha or Mercedes Moné's fucking get-up, if you will. I can't even explain. I was going to try to... I wouldn't do it justice if I tried to explain it. If you guys can get a screenshot of it or look it up on your Google machine, she paid the ultimate homage over to Eddie Guerrero with her gear. So that was just epic as well. So that's what I love about Mercedes, too. I mean, so many things. the fact that she's an immaculate talent every which way, checks off every box, but the respect she has for the business and who came before her, women or men, doesn't matter. She has so much respect for them. And that's why a lot of fans like BC has so much respect for her. So, guys, that was a lot of news to go over. I know. I appreciate every single one of you guys that that stuck with this entire impromptu amped up podcast for this Sunday. You guys are the absolute best. At times, I know we may have been all over the place, but there was a lot of news to cover. There was no other way that I could do this. I mean, there was a lot to go over, man. So I think I'm going to keep it at that for now. There's even more. I have reserved stories, but I'm already over my allotted time. I didn't want this to go over an hour, and if I keep going, we're going to be well over an hour. So BC's going to keep it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu Sunday evening podcast of Amped Up with BC Amplified. And until next time, and there will be a next time, like tomorrow, like probably within 12 hours, you're going to get another vid. Tomorrow night, my gold team, my channel members, make sure you join me for that live stream. My entire unit can join, but the chat will be for my gold card channel members. Friday will be everybody in the unit. I want everybody in that chat rocking out with BC. Red team, go! But tomorrow night, my gold members, because we have to have a little board meeting. We have to have a committee meeting, if you will, about Monday Night Raw. It's in a state of distress. And the board members, my gold team, we have to come together and fucking solve this WWE problem, this issue. So lots of content coming up, guys. But for now, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll do this again fucking within the next fucking 12 hours probably, man. Let me down a lot more coffee. We'll be right back here doing it again. BC, top guy, I'm out. Check you.